Good morning, amazing pupils. It's a new week and this is week 2. I hope you all had a great weekend. Good to have you back. Our subject is math and our topic is place value. Under place value, we're going to be looking at place value blocks, we're going to be looking at expansion, and we're going to be looking at partition. Don't mind the grammar. You all understand it's very easy, very easy. Alright, so our objectives is to understand the meaning of numbers. Every number is identified by its terms, for instance the tens, and also the unit, and also the hundred. If we can remind ourselves, I know you must have learned that tens has 1 0. So we are saying it again. Tens is represented by a 0, 100 is represented by 2 zeros, 1000 is represented by 3 zeros. Now you'll be hearing ones, units, ones. Unit is also the same thing as ones. So let's begin. Let's move to the place value blocks. Alright. So the first block is where you see blocks that are scattered. If they are not joined together like a stack, if they are in pieces, if they are separated, it represents unit. Those are units. And if you look at, I counted 2 blocks. 1, 2, which gives us 2 units. A unit is not represented by any 0, just the number, except if there's no figure written for it. But for the tens, you have a stack of block. If you count clearly, this is a 10-piece block. But we don't, in place value, we don't count 1, 2, no. Once you see a stack of block that stands like a rod, it represents tens. And that is to say 1, 10. 1, 10. Let me write so that you can understand. That is 1, 10. And 110 is equal to 10. That is 1 and 0. 110 is equal to 10, which is 10. That's why I wrote 1 stack is equal to 10. So if you see this kind of block that looks like a rod, it stands on its own. It represents tens. And tens has just 1 0. We move to the next slide. Yes, the next block, you can see a lot of blocks together. The red blocks are arranged together. Now that's a base 10 block, which represent 100. These represent 100. These represent 100. They are stacked together. If they are not joined this way, if they are singly joined, it becomes a tens. But if they are joined together, if they are joined together, it becomes 100. It becomes 100. Now I've made an example for you. I have a yellow stack of blocks. It's a yellow color. So if I'm to count these, I will say 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives me 4 blocks. And 4 blocks, instead of what to say block, remember we said that once the block is stacked and is single, it becomes a tens. So that is 4 tens, and the unit is usually separated. It's not joined together. So whenever you see a block separated from each other, it becomes a unit. So we have 4 tens plus 5 units. Let's move to another slide. Yeah, this is a practical work we can do together. Let me get my pen ready. All right, now this is we can see the purple and the green blocks. Let me come up a bit. We can see the purple and the green blocks. What do? The first thing to identify is, because it is stacked straight up in a single line, that is box of 10, and the green is box of units. So we count the tens. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. We have 5 tens. So I'll write 5 tens plus, how many units do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 units. And 5 tens plus 5 units we put our equal sign, we give us what? 50 9. We bring the 5 together and the 9 together, it becomes 59. Good. Let's move to another one. This is another block. Good. Now, what do you think? Who can help? Can you try for a few seconds? Okay, few seconds is over. Now, if we are to count, we go 1 stack, 2 tens, and 3 tens. Once it's stacked together, is a tens. Stack in a single line is a tens. But once it's stacked in a lot of lines together at once and it's a lot, it's not separated, it becomes 100. Please don't forget. So we have here, we have 3 tens, we have 3 tens, plus, now let's count the number of units. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 3 tens plus 6 units, which will give us 36, equal to 36. Isn't that easy? Quite easy. Just follow the procedure, follow the principle, follow it in order, and then you will not make mistake. Let's look at the last one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 stacks. 4 stacks of blocks straight up. They represent 4 tens. So we write our 4 tens. We write our 4 tens. Plus, what's the unit value? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 4 tens plus 5 units. And 4 tens plus 5 units, it's equal to 45. Super easy. Now let's try a little bit of a complex one. I have one that says 100. Now look at this work. This is what I was saying. Once it's stacked together in a box and it's flat, that will give you 100. One is a single straight line and it's separated from each other, it gives you a 10. So let's see. Since this is stacked together, that means it's only one of them we have. So we have 100. We can write it this way, 1. Another way we can write it. Now I said that 2 zeros represent 100. So we can have 100 plus, another method of doing it, I have my tens. This is 1, 2, 3. I write 3. And I remember Miss Bola says that a tens have 1 0. I had the 0. And then I put a plus. And I remember again I said the unit is separated. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7. Remember, we don't have a 0. So we now write, we have 100. We pick all the numbers. 1 minus zeros, 3, 7. It becomes 137. Thank you. All right, let's move to the expansion method. Now, expansion expansion shows the value of each digit. It shows which is tens, which is unit. It's still the same thing we are talking about, but in a different language. The same English, but different way of approaching it. That's what we are doing. Now, this is expansion method. Expansion method will give you the figures such as 64. But they are telling you to tell us which is tens and which is units. The same thing we did earlier is still what you're going to do here. The only difference is that we don't have blocks. Now, the expansion method, I've done the first one. Now, let's do the second one together. The question says 75. Expand 75. Expand 75. What do we do? The first thing to write is to identify what is 7. And remember, when we are having our unit value, we start from the last number to the right. So this is the unit. Where's my marker? Let's go. This is unit. And the second one will be tens. So we have represented our tens and units. All we need to do now is to write them out. We write our 7. Don't forget that for every tens, a 0 is represented by tens. 2 zeros is represented by 100. So we have 70 plus 5, which will give us 75. Is it easy? I know it's easy. We move to the next slide. Next slide. Yes, we have some more examples. Now let's try 84 together. Remember what we said before in expansion method. In case you get confused, just go back to the figure. Oh, I remember 84. I remember that tens has 1 0 and unit has no 0. So let me represent the tens and the value first. So you write your value unit, which is the U, on the first figure. Where's my marker? Let's go. U. And then we have our T. Don't mind my writing. My finger is big. Then we represent the numbers by saying we write our 8 first. Tens 1 0 0 plus 4. So 80 plus 4 is equal to 84. Same, very easy. Same as 79. Let's go. I don't need to put the tens again. I'm sure you've gotten a grip of the tens in units. We have 70 plus 9, which will give us equal to 79. Yes, we move to the last one. We have what we call partition method. Partition means to separate. We are still doing the same thing, if you observe, the same thing, but in different ways. So that when they ask you to expand, you know that you're supposed to number the one that is a tens and give the number that is a tens and give the number that has a unit. Now for partition means separate. Separate the tens from the ones. Don't forget, I said earlier that units means ones. So in some questions you might find ones, in some questions you might find units. They are all the same thing. Please don't be confused, because when you find ones and then you write tens and like, oh, ones, units, ones, it's the same grammar. All right, so I've done one for you. The question was 25. Now so we are asked to partition it, to separate them. It becomes 2 tens plus 5 ones. 2 tens plus 5 ones. 2 tens plus 5 ones. That's what you have. Okay, I think this, let me take this off. So 2 tens plus 5, plus 5 ones will give us 25. 2 tens plus 5 ones will give us 25. Let's move to the next slide. We have 89. Let's see. So how do we partition 89? Very easy. I bring out my keypad. Remember, we already know how to identify our tens and ones. So we have 8 tens, which is the tens figure, plus 9 ones. You have to, in doing partition method, you have to explain. That's what they mean. You need to explain. Which will give us, 8 tens will give us 80, because tens has 1 0, plus 9 ones will give us 9, and unit has no 0. So the question is 80 plus 9 is equal to 89. We move to another question. Let's try number 4. Number 4. Now number 4 says 53. So we have 5 tens plus 3 ones to give us 5 tens will give us 50. That is 5, and tens having 1 0, plus 3, and that will give us 53. Easy. Now let's move to number 4. Number 4 is quite easy too. Forget that you have 3 figures. It's very easy. So let's try it together. Don't worry, that's what I'm here for you. We have 1 2 3. Let's represent the number. Okay, let's do that first. Now how do we know which number is this? The first thing is to represent it, and then I'll turn on my marker and then I write. Let's see. Okay, this is unit, tens, and the last one is 100. That is HTU. So I bring up my keyboard again and I write 1. Remember I said the 100, you have 2 zeros. 100 represent 2 zeros. So we have 100 plus 20 plus 3. Oh, I missed the first step. You see, I'm not supposed to do that. So we go back again. That's what happens. So don't forget, partition method, you must go step by step. If you move to the answer straight up, you've actually missed the point, because in math you have to follow it step by step. So we're supposed to have 100, yes, plus 2/10 plus 3 units. So that would now give us 100 plus 20 plus 3, which will give us the answer back 123. 1, 2, 3. That's it. I did that so that you can understand that you cannot afford to lose or miss a step. Now let's try the last one together. We have 234. It's quite easy. It's nothing difficult unless you try it. So I don't want to hear it's difficult. No, it's easy. So let's, first of all, we identify our unit. Again, unit, tenths, and 100. Hold on, Miss Bola. And then I bring up my keyboard again, and I go. No mistake this time. So it becomes 200 plus 3/10 plus 4 units. And that will give us 200 plus 30 plus 4. I know we are dealing with tenths and unit, but the hundreds, sometimes it's good to always push yourself to try. So once in a while, I always chip in hundreds. It's just to have an idea that there's something called hundreds. All right, so we now have 234 for our figure. The same thing with 78. Don't forget your 7/10 plus 8 ones, and that will give us 70 plus 8. It's quite easy. It's not difficult. Once you keep practicing every day, you will get used to it. All right, and this marks the end of our class today. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Always go back to the videos. I will also send you another video that you can also watch in case you make a mistake when you're working. But if you need to ask a question, please just post your question on the comment section and we'll be there to answer it. Have a nice day. Bye.